I want to apologize to all of the groups out there. It's over for you. Game over.
We're out here, we're getting shots, we're dedicated to this video. Team Earth for the win.
This is my friend Ryan. He's got a lot of sand on his face just to get a few flicks for the squad. Yeah, he's dedicated. He likes to correct everyone and acts like he knows what he's doing, but in reality, he has no idea what he wants to do in life.
Look off into the distance and smile.
This is Lindsay. She likes to zone out when I talk and act like she cares, but it's all good.
Oh. Keep looking at your phone, this is crazy good.
And yeah, this is me, a baller. Prospective mechanical engineer and ready to take on the world. Let's get it.
You know, like,
I could probably go on about us, but basically in this clip, we talk about what we look forward to on the rest of the trip while we take in the beauty of the night on Kaimana Beach. Thanks, Bill Lane. For me, I've worked with renewable energy technologies in the past, and I'm looking forward to learning more along the socioeconomic impacts that they can make. Lindsay is considering IR or environmental engineering and is intrigued on how the energy industry is responding to government environmental policies. Ryan, coming from the middle of nowhere, is passionate about energy independence and wants to see how distributed resources are integrated with the grid. We started our journey through Hawaiian energy with the incumbents, the big dogs of energy, fossil fuels. We started at Par Oil Refinery, where we learned about all the services their work provides to the island, from the fuel oil powering the grid to the jet fuel integral to tourism in Hawaii. It was clear that Hawaii cannot currently function without this place. But even though they play a key role in the Hawaiian economy today, Par and its employees are well aware of the fact that this is changing as Hawaii moves towards a clean energy future. In fact, the employees were more than aware of Hawaii's goals, and they were supportive of them. Later, we toured the AES coal-fired power plant. The only video I managed to get was in the gym in their facilities, so... Anyways, I'll put some nice scenic beach shots for the rest of the talking. This facility could power 20% of Oahu's energy needs 24/7, 365, rain or shine, costing 4 times less than some of the other renewable options. Unfortunately for them, their power purchase agreement runs out in 3 years, and HECO has no intention of renewing it. The employees explained the problems with replacing a plant like theirs with renewables. It will be more expensive, creating energy equity issues. It will be unreliable, and it will take up a massive amount of land. Their guess was 5,000 acres. However, they were not resistant to the energy transition, saying that with HECO's help, they would like to become a renewable biomass plant and continue to operate.
Just left the refinery, now we're headed to the gas plant, seeing how they make natural gas.
So yeah, Ryan summed it up pretty well. But at the synthetic natural gas facility, they make natural gas from naphtha, a waste product of the oil refining process. We learned more about some of their exciting initiatives, like exploring the use of hydrogen in their pipelines, as well as creating renewable natural gas from the wastewater treatment process. Next, H-Power. H-Power is a waste-to-energy facility that is innovative with a simple concept: burn trash to run a steam cycle and create electricity. The concept was fascinating and incredible to watch in action. The plant can only produce 7% of the island's electricity needs, but functions to also save precious space on a small island like Oahu by turning trash to ash. At the end of our first 2 days, we had immersed ourselves in the world of Hawaiian fossil fuels and, surprisingly enough, we were more excited than ever about the future of clean energy in Hawaii. However, we were also beginning to realize that there are a lot of factors at play, and the limited amount of land is a serious issue that needs to be overcome in order for this energy transition to be successful. Much like Hawaii's energy portfolio, our trip changed its focus to renewables. We started at Kaiwalua Wind Farm, where we saw the magic of these towering behemoths up close. The turbines were quiet and elegant, almost like a modern art installation. The employees were enthusiastic about wind power, but did not hesitate to acknowledge its problems. They spoke to the difficulty of land usage, whether from native Hawaiians who don't want to disrupt sacred land, or people who despise the way the turbines look. They also highlighted the necessity of pairing storage with renewables and the shortcomings of existing batteries. The head of the farm, who, like Ryan, also went to the middle of nowhere high, small world, even went as far to say that he doesn't believe solely renewables will be enough to accomplish the clean energy transition. We also toured 2 solar farms, and their sheer size was mind-blowing. We saw all the crazy technology that kept these farms operating, but these were not of the greatest concern to the farm operator. Instead, it was a challenge of cutting the grass, a reminder that no matter how great the technology, land always has the last say. This 220-acre solar farm can only push 27 megawatts onto the grid. A bit of quick math reveals the depressing story this tells. Oahu would need 10,000 acres of solar to meet the island's peak demand, not to mention storage to support it. Allocating this enormous amount of land is not at all reasonable on a small, developed island like Oahu. Understandably, we weren't feeling as hot about the future of energy in Hawaii anymore. We were beginning to see what a barrier land use really is. Oahu doesn't have enough land to meet its goals with current technology. Even if it did, it would be nearly impossible to obtain approval to use that land for renewable generation. The third Democratic debate also fell on that day. As expected, many of the candidates addressed climate change and gave proposals to transition to carbon neutrality nationwide.
That we, by 2028, cut all carbon emissions from new buildings, by 2030, carbon emissions from cars, and by 2035, all carbon emissions from the manufacture of electricity.
With our new insight about the difficulties of this process, we found many of the proposals aspirational at best and laughable at worst. We had become a bit more pessimistic. Today, we met the man behind it all, Colton Ching of the Hawaiian Electric Company. HECO outlined their plans and fielded our questions on how they will transition their grid to the 100% renewable energy. They acknowledged the difficulty, but were excited about the goal and confident they will achieve it. They have plans in motion that will result in a 70% renewable grid by 2025 and believe they will be able to keep rates down in the process. However, they're still worried about the last 30%. We also saw one of HECO's oil-fired power plants. There, like all the other fossil fuel facilities, the story was the same. Employees were excited about the energy transition and willing to do their part. Finally, we saw HECO's biodiesel generating facility. It consists of 6 diesel engines that can run on a variety of fuels but are currently using biodiesel made from cooking oil, a renewable energy source. The plant was not operating when we were there, and this was indicative of its real value. It acts as a spinning reserve that can be quickly ramped to meet demand or serve as a safety net in case of failure at another plant. Some of our faith in the possibility of a clean energy was restored by HECO. The confidence of grid operators and the possibility of using biodiesel to solve problems associated with renewables were reassuring.
These boys are about to get toasted.
So if you guys need to use a bathroom or bathroom.
We journeyed to downtown Honolulu for a day of meetings with executives, government officials, and activists, all the people influencing the Hawaiian energy industry. At the Public Utilities Commission, we learned about the difficulty of permitting a new power generation project, and were reminded about the issue of land use. Just the day before, protesters were at the steps of the PUC protesting a new wind farm. We talked to a climate activist at Blue Planet who was part of the push to pass the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative. He said at the time this was done, there was no clear path to achieve the goal, but insisted that sometimes it is necessary to put the cart before the horse, and figured it out along the way. Finally, we met with the governor, who expressed his support for this plan as part of his goal to make Hawaii more independent. We were fascinated by the larger context of this energy transition and found the rhetoric of Blue Planet especially inspiring, giving us hope about the future outside of Hawaii. After a long week full of energy, we relaxed and explored. We traversed the island, taking in incredible views of mountains, forests, sand beaches, and coral reefs. We quickly became enamored with this land and understood why people fight so hard to protect it. Now armed with an arsenal of knowledge on current Hawaiian grid and the challenges of transitioning to renewables, we started to explore the new technologies that might facilitate the transition. We visited an OTEC facility that was interesting, but, to put it nicely, not really ready for the big time quite yet. We saw some of the relatively easy things that can be done to make a building consume a lot less energy in action. In the evening, we visited a 100% renewable off-grid ranch. They use solar, batteries, and hydrogen to meet their energy needs. The ranch architect was a big proponent of hydrogen because it can be burned as a fuel or turned into electricity as a fuel, making it a way to store energy like a battery. He said it was silly to exclude hydrogen as a solution for energy needs in favor of only batteries, because there is no silver bullet to fix our energy needs, only silver buckshot. We have to use everything we've got. We were happy to see all the different people working on the energy transition from so many different angles and the possibility of so many different technologies, especially hydrogen, to contribute. On our last day, we visited Helco, the grid operator for the Big Island, and learned about the struggles they have managing such a small grid. The land on the Big Island is such a fantastic resource for all types of renewables that Helco believes they will reach 80% renewable generation by 2022, leaving them plenty of time to reach the 2045 goal. We also visited Puna Geothermal, a plant that can provide a massive amount of clean renewable energy simply from hot steam underground. It is a wonderful resource, but in 2018, an eruption of Mount Kailua covered part of the plant, shutting it down and thus 30% of the island's generation. We were reminded that even though this land has blessed the people of Hawaii with such wonderful resources to help transition to clean energy, they can be lost or made useless at any time. We were reminded of how fragile the system is, and that it will only become more fragile through this transition. Oftentimes in life, we're under the illusion that there's a map, but we never consider the possibility of there being no road at all. Hawaii embarked on a journey to clean energy without knowing how or if it would accomplish its goal. It's still charging ahead nonetheless, and because of that, numerous states and cities have followed suit. So maybe it's okay that Hawaii doesn't know how to reach its goal yet, and maybe it's even okay it doesn't reach its goal at all. Their bold first step is a big one and half the challenge. One that is providing hope and setting an example for the world. Maybe it's okay that those politicians' plans were simply aspirational, and maybe it's okay to put the cart before the horse, because the faster we do so, the more time the horse has to catch up.